What is a percentage lease in retail real estate? If you haven't heard of what a percentage rent lease structure is, well, then listen up because it might just be something you will run into with certain landlords. Percentage rent is usually proposed by the landlord, typically large corporate institutional landlords only. This is basically a lease structure that enables the landlord to charge a lower base rent to a tenant in exchange for percentage rent. Percentage rent is literally a percentage of the tenant's business profits going directly to the landlord on a monthly basis. This requires the tenant to have a full transparency attitude and open books to the landlord. Because this lease structure is perceived as a way to help the tenant lower his or her fixed costs, rent, landlords will most of the time require long term leases with strict termination right limitations and hefty fees. In most cases, percentage rent implies a lower base rent, not necessarily $0 for base rent. The reason this is usually only executed by institutional landlords is because this is usually only required where the lease price per square foot is extremely expensive. For example, inside of malls, airports, stadiums, etc. These kinds of infrastructures are most of the time owned and operated by institutional landlords. It is unlikely one will encounter this kind of lease on your typical strip center. But it is always good to be informed.